Thank you. Welcome back. Now, we have about 20 minutes until we're going to relocate for the next segment of the workshop, which is going to include at least 8 other humans. And it's going to be a fusion of play fighting and mushing and contact improvisation with all of these dynamic principles sprinkled throughout. Right now, I just realized during the break that I have not introduced the concept called osculation. O-S-C-U-lation. Osculation. It's different than oscillation, O-S-C-I-L-lation. Oscillation is an alternating from high to low, like a sine curve. This is an oscillation. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Generally, things that oscillate follow some type of sine curve rhythm where there's a smoothing of the curve and it never just kind of goes at a 90-degree angle. I do advocate that when you move and when you conceptualize your body, that you try to avoid movements that are just suddenly 90 degree. Yeah. Yeah, staccato, exactly. We're really going for legato in everything that we do. Osculation is from the Latin word that means to kiss. So I can even kind of kiss my fingers together. You might call this an osculation. The two places where I wasn't osculating for sure until I took some workshops on axis syllabus, which is a really interesting discipline that I encourage you all to go watch their videos too. Super good. Axis, A-X-I-S, syllabus, like the thing they give you at the beginning of a course. Yeah. So osculation. In the thoracic spine, at the thoracic lumbar junction, it is possible for your vertebra, which by the way, all of your vertebrae have these things called transverse processes. They stick out to the side. And if you try to laterally bend, your transverse processes will just bump into each other. But if you do a forward bend and a twist and a lateral bend at the same time, they can really pass by each other. So you can vastly increase how much flexibility you have in your spine simply by combining these 3 axes of movement simultaneously. So in the neck and throat, it looks like this. I'll come a little closer. Can you check the frame so you want to make sure I'm still in? Let's do a little shakeout. Yeah, cool. So when I tuck my chin down, it gets to here, and then I feel that's kind of where it stops. If I tilt my head to the right and I tuck down, it's even worse. But if I also twist to the left while I tuck and I tilt to the right, I can get all the way down to here. And look, my chin and my collarbone, they kiss. And you can kind of give yourself a massage there. So this pattern of movement, where there's a twisting to the right, while there's a tilting to the left, and I'm also doing a forward tilt, it allows the vertebra to pass by each other in a different way. Same thing is true here in the lumbar spine. If I try to do just a lateral bend, I don't get that far. That's kind of it. If I do a forward bend, hinging at my hips forward, and a lateral bend, it's still not quite there. But if I also twist the opposite way, my navel is really pointing that way now, I can get my rib cage all the way down to the ASIS. That's the highest bone in your pelvis, the one that you can kind of feel when you just touch yourself here. So normally, I'll put my fingers literally on the bones. In a side bend, there's still all the space here. In a forward bend, there's still all that space there. But if I do a side bending, forward bending, opposite twist, they literally touch. Yeah, that's osculation. If you take this practice to the floor, am I still in frame here?
Yeah, the whole mat is in frame.
Excellent. So if I start from here and I do a right side bend, and I allow that I'm gonna now left side bend, but I'm still twisting to the right. See, the right side bend just begins the movement. Right side bend. Now, left side bend with twist, and I'm really closing down this distance here, and it creates tons of internal tension. So from this position, it's really possible to right side bend, left side bend. All of that arm movement was just from the tension that came from the wind up, basically. It's easier to wind up further when you include all three axes of rotation simultaneously. Yeah.
It applies to spirals as well, right? Like it sounds like an element of spiral.
Absolutely. Yeah, the spine really will spiral itself up much more nicely when you're all the time oscillating between left and right side bend, between forward and back bend, between clockwise and counterclockwise twist, and just be aware you have patterns of movement that you learned from watching people who didn't really know how to move. Mostly you learned how to move by watching probably your parents, who might be like office workers or factory workers, not athletes and dancers. So they taught you how to move like this, where never does the right side cross to the left side, ever. It's really counterintuitive. It will take you some time to learn how to look to the left and tilt to the right, because mostly people look to the left and tilt to the left, and it hurts. It kind of pinches. But they haven't seen this pattern very much. When you apply that pattern to a full body movement thing, suddenly you'll notice that my head is like, and my hips, you know, when I move through this shape here, this is an osculation. It's really passing one bone by the other, and my belly is like twisting as far to the left as it can go, while I'm also lifting up my right hip as far as it can go. And the only reason I'm able to do it is because I have all my body weight on my left leg. My right leg is free to do the thing that caused my socks to look like this. You guys want to try moving a little bit? I might come and like put my hands on and suggest different. Your stomach muscles are super part of this. Like there's a lot of pulling and yeah.
So nutritious for the joints. This
Yeah.
kind of movement creates this oscillation of expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in order to find this quality through the hips, it's really necessary that you be shifting your body weight from one leg to the other kind of constantly. So if you spend any significant period of time with your legs really far apart and your legs both externally rotated and your knees pretty straight and try to do it, it's really impossible. Like I can't really do it unless I bring my legs underneath my center, I get onto the ball of the foot so the heels are free to lift and rotate, and then I allow that my arms are also moving through these rotating, counter-spiraling positions. And now, hypothetically, if I was on a slack line or something, you can see how my 3 limbs and head are this dynamic counterbalancing system that keeps my center over my left foot. Yeah. And you can shift to the other foot and find a way to balance. And it's for sure going to happen that you get tired, these muscles in your lower legs just above the ankles, because mostly people don't use their feet to balance, actually. Their feet are in shoes, and all the balancing happens from up here, which is why people are so likely to fall over. When a person who's standing up like this feels like they're going to fall, because there's this idea that lowering down is bad, they tend to fall with their head still up, like as high as it can be. But the moment I realize that I'm falling, I just bend my knees as much as I can. I put a hand on the floor, and then I lie down. And what's necessary is that the moment you realize that you're off balance, that everything shortens and you let yourself get closer to the ground. Right. Yeah. Right, like don't resist the fact that there's a fall. Embrace the fact that there's a fall happening, yeah.
And the more we practice following and maybe counterbalancing, the more we catch ourselves from different unexpected angles.
So yeah, I'd say the pattern that I observe is most difficult for people to break is this both legs externally rotated thing. And even if you think you're not doing it, I invite you to look down and just see if your feet are pointing in like 90-degree angles. Even if you bend your knees, I can't actually do it. What's necessary is that sometimes they come parallel or even past parallel as I shift to the other one, and then I have this freedom to explore movement and to counterbalance with my arms and my head. It can be really nice, simple exercise to just think of yourself as being very light. And when you fall, you'll just stick one of your feet, like I'm falling that way, I'm just gonna put a foot in my falling path, and then I'm gonna get really big around that point. So wherever I'm falling, okay, I'm falling this way now, I'm just gonna stick a foot in the path of my fall. I'm bending it so that I have the ability to then expand from it. I might take 2 or 3 steps, I'm falling that way, I put my foot in the path of the fall, I load it like a spring, and then I let myself balance somehow until I'm falling again. Maybe I take 1 or 2 steps, and I want to think of this foot as like a spring that I load, and then everything expands simultaneously from that point. It's not like I fall and my leg is here and my leg does a thing and then my arms do a thing. It's really like, oh, I'm here, I'm falling that way, here's my landing gear, I'm loading it, and then I'm expanding, and some part of my body is expanding in counterbalance as well. Yeah. Another fun thing you can play with is just winding up your arms from really far away. And when I just pull them in towards my belly, if I allow my foot to turn, this will come into my foot, and now I have this tension. As I bring myself over this foot, naturally, the rotation continues. So just from like, oh, I'm reaching towards Elena, and now I'm pulling. Look, this right one switches to external rotation. So you start, and the energy ball, right, comes in. I have all this momentum. I'm twisting, twisting, twisting. I leave this leg behind, and then eventually it whips. Socks are super nice for this practice because the top of the feet are often really sensitive. And so if I start from here, and I pull to here, When I get to here, watch what happens to my left foot. I'm really on the top of the foot. I'm really using the top as a weight-bearing surface, and even doing this challenges my flexibility. It challenges my flexibility. It's a little bit uncomfortable. With more regular practice, I will be able to really just stand comfortably on this part. Yeah, but the thing is, you're not intending to bear your full weight on this part, rather that it's just here as like a kickstand. And when I engage my core, then my arms kind of naturally will grow in opposition to what my foot is doing. And it's really important that when I bend my knee still tracks over the toe. That's the safe alignment. If I do this, where my knee is going that way, my toes are going that way, this is not super safe. Yeah. So another thing you can do is you can kind of let your arms wind up. So my arms can wind up here. And if all I do is I squeeze my belly, my arms will naturally unfold. They'll just, yeah. And when they're big, it'll slow me down a little bit. But if I let them be big for a moment, and then I make them small again, that small really accelerates the rotation. And so when you think about like, how do I translate my mass from here to over there? Mostly people go like this. Shift body weight to one side, throw foot out, heel strike, land, heel strike, land. Each of these is very exertive. Like the metabolic expenditure is really high for these movements and the balance is not great. Whereas if I want to get over there, then I think to myself, well, I mean, if I just like start with like one single movement of winding myself up, and then I let it come to here, I let that come to here, and I let that come to here, that was like quite a lot easier. I basically allowed my wind up through gravity to create rotation. That rotation, when it reached its fullest rotation, I can't rotate any further, but if I just bend my knees a little bit, it's like it's ready with just that, to move that far. But like without the rotation, I have to like, you know, I have to exert myself a lot. So what we're really going for is how to move through space, including back space, without losing your momentum. So I'm still going that way. I reach here, I'm all wound up. If I stop here and I just squeeze my belly, I have so much power in the opposite direction. So I want to move towards Clara. I think I could move towards Clara like this. So first, I come from here. And then this comes to here, and there, and there. And because we're spiraling, even though we bumped into each other, it wasn't an impact, it was a dispersed impact into the spiral. This is what we're also trying to do when we go to the ground. Oh, I'm falling, spiraling, spiraling. Yeah. Are you guys familiar with this pattern of coming to here, through there, to here, and
yes, and I imagine it's interesting. I have a limitation with my neck, and it would be interesting to play with osculation.
so where do you feel the limitation?
I need to try again.
Yeah, let's try the thing and go super duper slow. Maybe come a little bit closer here.
Yeah, here I already feel it pulling.
Okay.
As I'm pulling it, like I'm really stretching it with my weight.
Yep. Okay.
Mostly there.
Okay.
Also here.
Cool. Cool. So what I observe, I'll kind of try to mirror what you were just doing. So you came through here, you got to here, Now my head is pointing in that direction, and I'm not moving it. When I get to here, I also feel tension in my neck. Especially if I keep going to here, that feels really bad. So what I'm doing is this the whole time. And I'm alternating between this and this. So as I move through, first I'm like, oh, I'm tilting away. Now I'm tilting towards. Now I'm looking at my left shoulder. Now I'm looking at my right shoulder. Now I'm passing through. Now I'm tilting up. Right? Then I can collapse there and press here.
Do you have a principle of ease that you follow? Like whatever feels easy?
The principle is constantly oscillate.
Change.
Right? Whatever you just did, and it starts to hurt, now do the opposite.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, it's that simple. So try it again, but this time, like, think of yourself as a snake, right? And that the top of your head is sometimes going to push against the ground, and that actually something that's going to possibly prevent you is the position of your ponytail. If you do a little bit more of a top knot position, it might get out of the way. That already looked like it was way smoother.
Yeah, also not painful at all.
Great. So this is a super, super cool lesson for everybody. I hear people all the time say, oh, I can't do that because it hurts. And really, that you can't do, it's different than the thing that I'm inviting you to do. You probably can do a lot more than you think you can. However, this specific movement pattern requires a lot of flexibility in your hamstrings to get to this position. Now, I'll mock it with less hamstring flexibility. You could still pass through with your legs off the ground. Now, with your legs off the ground, the risk of dumping the body weight into your head and neck is much higher, so your hands may want to be positioned more strategically so that when I come through here, that I have support here, or even possibly like here, right? This is, again, external, internal, and then switching. You see this head swim? You can bend your knees more if you don't have the flexibility as well.
And if no flexibility in the neck, if there's less flexibility in the neck, you can also lean more on your shoulders. I already see you do.
Right. Keep a little bit more of a tuck. Don't put as much body weight into your actual head. Now, when I do this thing really well, there's very little body weight in the head and neck. It's really like here to here, across the shoulders. And to make that platform, you have to actually lift and broaden your shoulders. There's an active pushing that will make a platform. And if you're collapsed, then for sure you're going to bear the weight in your neck, and it's going to hurt. Our get up and go alarm is going off. Yeah. So we're going to wrap here. Yes, we did it. We did it. Yes. Hey. Great session, you guys. I loved it. Oh, I'm so grateful for all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful day.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Me too.